Hello, this is Penny with 40 Something and Fabulous. I am going to talk about a new subject today that I haven't really talked about on my channel, and that is weight loss. I am a gastric bypass patient. I have battled my weight pretty much my entire adult life, and I'm going to be starting the 5-day reset diet tomorrow. So I kind of wanted to do this for accountability for me and to help anybody else out there who might be struggling with the same kind of thing. I want to share my entire weight loss story with you guys so you kind of get an idea of what I've been through and what led me to where I am right now, what led me to surgery, all that kind of thing. So I pretty much my entire adult life I've struggled with my weight. I've always been too heavy, plus sized for the most part as an adult, and you know, it got really out of hand. I can remember November 2000. That's when I kind of put the brakes on and said, something's got to change. You know, I had gone to the doctor. I was just diagnosed with high blood pressure. I was 29 years old, and I knew that was going to send me off on a, you know, I knew that was just the start of it. You know, if I didn't do something about my weight, it was just going to get worse. And being adopted, not knowing any medical history at all, that is really the concerning factor, is not knowing any medical history. So I can remember coming home, and I sat my husband and I got married in 1993, and he's been with me through many different sizes, many different diets, some of which would last 3 or 4 hours. Some might last 3 weeks. I mean, you know, I'd ran the gamut on that. Our oldest child was in 2000. She was 12 at the time. So I sat both of them down and I said, listen, I said, I need your support through something. I said, I know I've tried it many times in the past and failed. I said, but if I'm going to be successful, I have to keep trying, and I need your support. So November 1st, 2000, actually, I started on a serious plan. Once again, you know, having done this many, many times before and sometimes fallen off the wagon before it got dark, I didn't know what to expect, but I knew that I had to try something. So I found some message boards on the internet, weight loss themed, and I met a bunch of people on there that were traveling the same journey, and some of them didn't have a lot to lose, some of them did. But we all kind of had that common bond of needing to lose weight. So November 1st, 2000, I started. And the old me probably would have said, let's wait till January 1st because, you know, we've got Thanksgiving coming. We had just come off Halloween. You know, Christmas with all the baked goods and all the parties and the food and this and that. But I said, you know what? No, this is different for me. I want to start now. I want to get it on track now. So they agreed. They said they would support me, but at the time, you know, they thought it was once again going to be a futile attempt at losing weight. So they, you know, they were supportive, but they of course had their doubts, just like we all did. So once I got started on that, and I didn't do any kind of shakes or pills or magic diets or anything like that. I just basically, I cleaned up what I was doing. I avoided fast food. I didn't eat sweets. But everything else was pretty much on the table. I still ate carbs. I still ate fruits. I ate vegetables. I just didn't indulge in things that I shouldn't eat. And the only way I can describe it, and having gone through the journey that I've gone through, all I can say is at that time, every single piece of the puzzle was in place. I had the right mindset. Just everything came together and worked to my advantage. I was drinking 1.5 gallons of water a day, no other drinks except sometimes I would use lemons, a lot of lemons and some Splenda to sweeten and have my version of lemonade. Like when we would go out to dinner or whatever, that's what I would drink as a treat because so much water, you know, you do get sick of it. So November 1st, 2000 through March, and I don't remember the date, I think it was the 22nd, March 22nd, 2003, I lost 160 pounds, reaching my goal weight. And I was ecstatic. I was a size 10. I felt great. They couldn't keep up with me. I had so much energy. It was amazing. And I did it all, like I said, I mean, just eating good quality foods, and I didn't cut out carbs. I mean, that was kind of before that was actually in between the low carb crazes, you know. Atkins was popular many years prior, but I didn't do low carb, and I didn't have to, thank God. So this worked for me. I was eating plenty of calories for my size. That's the one thing I can say. That and the water, I think, are two of the biggest factors for me that played in, is that I wasn't eating 1,100 calories a day. I was eating like 2,100 calories a day. It was pretty unbelievable, really, because my husband would say to me, I can't believe you can eat all this and lose weight. And I didn't use laxatives. I wasn't binging or purging or anything like that. Nothing unhealthy. I was eating, and everything was working to my advantage. It was just amazing. And I jokingly say that I was at my goal weight for all of 5 minutes, and then we got pregnant with our youngest. Let's see, March 2003, I think it was the 22nd, I reached my goal. And then we found out we were expecting him in early June 2003. So literally like a wink and a skip, and I'm pregnant. And after 9 years of no protection from pregnancy, and this is our first conception, I fully believe that it was weight related, that I couldn't conceive. But here we were expecting this child. So, and then that pregnancy, even though my pregnancy was wonderful, everything made me sick as a dog. I couldn't drink water. It made me sick. Everything I ate made me sick. I was throwing up all the time. And we weren't talking just morning sickness like with my first. My first, I had morning sickness for like a month and a half, and then I was good to go. The occasional meal would make me sick throughout, but very rarely. But with the youngest, I was sick 24/7. And so I kind of just threw caution to the wind and said, well, if it's going to make me sick anyway, I'm going to eat what I want. So I did, and I started gaining. And I gained probably 80 or 90 pounds with that pregnancy. And then after I had him, I continued to gain. I would go through periods of time where I didn't gain, but I really couldn't lose. And I couldn't harness that mindset that I had before. And I don't know why. I still to this day can't tell you why, that I couldn't do it on my own. I tried and I tried. So many starts and restarts, and it just wasn't working. So, you know, my weight just continued to climb. Fast forward to December 2009, and I was diagnosed with diabetes, type 2 diabetes. And that was devastating. My weight was really, really high. I was miserable, physically miserable. And again, the health problems I knew would just continue to come. At this time, I was 38, I believe. And it was just, something's got to change. So a friend of mine had gastric bypass, and her and I would get together every so often. We used to work together, so I used to see her every day, but then she left and went to another job. So we would get together on the weekends occasionally for breakfast. And I saw her like 6 months after her surgery, and it was like, oh my God, you know, it was unbelievable, the difference. So I talked to her about her situation, and, you know, she gave me all this information. And I said, you know, this is something that I need to look into myself. So I went to the seminar, the info seminar that they had August 26th, 2010. I went to the seminar, and I learned one piece of information that I didn't know going in. I knew a lot about it because I had talked to her a lot, and I had learned things over the years, because every now and then it would pop up in my mind, you know, that I should explore. And then I would freak out and be like, no, that's too extreme. But I learned one piece of information that I did not know, and that is gastric bypass, RNY, actually reverses diabetes. His words exactly were, people newly diagnosed with diabetes and are on a low dose of metformin, it will reverse your diabetes. So I actually made up my mind that night. Before I even went home and talked to my husband, I made up my mind that I was doing it. And of course, my husband's always been supportive of everything. So I knew I had him in my corner, even though he was scared out of his mind, the idea of me going into surgery and having all my insides rerouted. But he was extremely supportive. And, but I had made up my mind before I even got home. And I started the process immediately, because there again with my friend and her counsel, I kind of knew what I had to do. Okay, sorry for that interruption there. talking to my friend, I kind of knew the steps that I needed to go through, and I needed to get releases from several doctors that I had seen for other issues. One being a false heart scare. So I had to get a release from a cardiologist. I went to all my doctors. I went to my female doctor and had a panel done with them, a workup done with them. I went and did the psychiatrist appointment, the dietitian appointment. I attended the dietitian meeting that I was supposed to attend. And I had all that done so that when I saw the surgeon on October 3rd and started the pre-op diet, I was able to get a really fast surgery date. So my surgery date was October 21st, 2010. And I was scared out of my mind. I was so scared, in fact, that my son, my youngest, was 7 at the time I had surgery. And I was so afraid of going under that I wrote him a letter in case I die. And I put it in my parents' safety deposit box to be given to him in case I die. But my fear of dying young due to weight-related issues was much greater than the fear of dying on the operating table. So that's how I overcame that and went ahead with the surgery. Because it had gotten to the point where my quality of life was just nowhere near what it should be. And my family was suffering for it, because their world always revolved around me. And, I was affecting our day-to-day, we loved to get out and do things. And it took all I could to do because I was so heavy. So anyway, I had the surgery. I had quite a number of complications. I healed very slow for one. Even though I wasn't a smoker, I feel like my healing went a lot slower than a lot of people's do. I've heard a lot of people say they didn't have any trouble whatsoever, and that's great. But having gone through complications, and I had an ulcer the first year that was almost impossible to get rid of. I had it for almost a whole year, and we finally got rid of it. And after that, it was pretty good sailing. I'd get sick a lot when I would eat. Food made me sick a lot. But even going through all of that, I would do it again in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even hesitate because my quality of life now is so much better and has been ever since I had surgery. You can deal with the feeling like crud, and not everybody does. But it was totally worth it to me. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I lost very rapidly. I had a lot of weight to lose, and I followed my surgeon and dietitian's plans to a T, as well as possible, I should say, because it was difficult for me to eat. I actually extended my liquid stage a little bit longer because I couldn't tolerate food at first. That's why I say I healed so slow, because I feel like I had to extend the length of time that I was on the certain stages in order to heal. And that was what was best for me. So that's what I did. And by December 31st, 2010, which was only a little over 2 months after surgery, I was 78 pounds down from the start of the pre-op diet to the weight on December 31st. 78 pounds down, that's pretty darn awesome. And then by my 1-year anniversary, October 21st, 2011, I had lost 178 pounds. That was my goal, was to lose 100 pounds that next year by my anniversary date, which I did. Barely. I think it was 103/4 pounds or something like that. So 178 pounds the first year. I reached my final goal on August 22nd, 2012. That was 22 months in. 193.25 pounds lost. So, and I was finally a normal weight for the second time in my life, once I had reached adulthood, So that was super exciting. Now, fast forward to 2015, August 2015 actually, and I had put on a number of pounds, about 80 pounds, and I was convinced I had broken my pouch. I could eat ridiculous amounts of food, and it kind of like took me aback one day, and I was like, I shouldn't be able to eat this much food. I have stretched my pouch, I've stretched my stoma, whatever, this is terrible. So I had stumbled upon the 5-day reset diet, and I decided to do it because I wanted to know where I was, as far as my situation. And I also got a bit of cottage cheese. I don't know if you've heard this. You can measure how much food your pouch can hold by using cottage cheese. And I took a cup of cottage cheese, and you're supposed to eat as much as you can within 5 minutes. There's a lot of studies on this that will say that it doesn't really work or whatever, but I felt like it was a good way to tell like what you could hold. But you're supposed to eat for 5 minutes and as much as you can. And of course, if you're eating that fast, you're gonna fill up pretty quick. So I did. I filled up before the 5 minutes was up, and then I measured what was left, and my pouch holds about 8 to 9 ounces, which is normal for a mature pouch. So I was super excited to know that I did, in fact, still have an intact pouch, despite the abuse that I had done for years, eating slider foods, eating foods I wasn't supposed to, and this and that. So, like I said, I had gained about 80 pounds, and then I started, once I measured my pouch and I did the 5-day reset, I think I lost about 11 pounds. It was like 7, something like that, 7, maybe 11, I don't remember exactly. But the important thing is not what you lose during a reset, it's getting that restriction back so that when you eat a meal, you feel restriction. Now, part of the reason why I could eat so much food was because I was choosing wrong foods. I was eating slider foods. If you don't know what a slider food is, it's something basically with no nutritional value, and they tend to go down the pouch pretty fast, which normally leaves you hungry again, or it just allows you to eat a lot more at a meal. And then you're hungry again sooner, and so you end up eating more in a day than you would if you were eating real good quality protein and stuff. So I've always been a carb addict, so I like chips and I like crackers and I like bread and rice and all that stuff we're not supposed to have, French fries, all that kind of stuff. And I was eating things like that. So once I did the reset in August of 2015 and found that restriction, I was able to get it under control. And day 3 of the pouch reset, the reset diet, I made 2 scrambled eggs for breakfast on that day 3, and I was only able to eat about 1 1/4. And I was kind of really taken aback that I could only fit that much in my pouch. And I was ecstatic because I was like, oh, thank you, Lord, I have not broken this thing. So, I went on, and through February, the following February, I lost 34 pounds. And then I was in a car accident, which kind of derailed my efforts because I couldn't exercise. I was in a lot of pain all the time, and I just kind of let the healthy eating go by the wayside. So I gained that 34 pounds back, plus another 14 on top of that. So there I was. Fast forward to 2018, February 2018, and here I was again, gaining to the point that things were starting to ache again. I was hurting. I was just sluggish. I just didn't feel like doing things like I normally did and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? I need to get back to basics here. I need to start eating good quality protein, a little bit of vegetables and fruits to get my carbs, and lay off the bread and crackers and chips and French fries and all that junk. So I did. And I really I tracked my food on MyFitnessPal. That's my favorite app, by the way, to track food. And I started tracking all that, and I wasn't 100% on it. I had a lot of times when I'd mess up, and sometimes it would be several days in a row, but I'd always get back to where I needed to be as far as the way I would need to be eating. And so over the past 13 months, I have lost 48.8 pounds. So I have about 30 to 40 pounds to lose. And over about the last, since December, I've been pretty stagnant. No, that's not true. It was after that, probably January. So the last couple months I've been within 5 pounds of the same weight, and I need to really focus and get this off once and for all. that is my goal, that if once I lose it this time, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to maintain. And if that means going on some kind of reset every few weeks, that's what I'm going to do, because I have to continue to maintain this weight, or, you know, my weight loss once I'm done. So here we are today, present time. I am getting ready to start a reset diet tomorrow. Some of the things that I have to eat is the Premier Protein. I like the chocolate. I'm not a breakfast eater, so I have one of these for, well, sometimes two. One or two of these for breakfast anyway. Actually, it usually ends up one. If I want a snack, I'll also use those for snacks if I'm really hungry or whatever. So the Premier Protein, the sugar-free Jell-O pudding. I'm not a big fan of this, but it is one of the things on the list. So I went ahead and got it and thought, you know, if I'm starving, because day one is really tough. I'm not going to lie. The pouch diet or the reset diet is basically like you're new out from surgery. Back to liquids and soups, you know, basically clear liquids is what we're doing. With a few little bonus things thrown in there, you know, to keep us from really going crazy. But it's difficult to do because you go from eating whatever you want to only having shakes and soup and stuff. It's a little tough. But the good thing is, if you're hungry, you can eat as many times as you need in that day. You're not supposed to track calories. You're obviously only supposed to have like decaf tea, decaf coffee, water, stuff like that. And then the soups and the shakes and the Jell-O, the sugar-free Jell-O. This is pudding. You can also have the gelatin, the sugar-free gelatin if you want. Cream of chicken soup. You can actually make your own soup with broth and cream of chicken soup. And you can put some things in it too. So there's some recipes out there. And then I also got this just because it's black bean with red quinoa soup. And the calories are pretty decent. 150 calories for 1 cup. 5 grams of sugar, 27 grams of carbs, which is a lot, but black beans are a low glycemic index food. So that means that it's good for your sugar levels, your glucose levels. So that's why I got that. And plus it has 17 grams of protein per can, about 2 servings of soup in here. So that's 34 grams of protein for the day if you were to eat the whole can. It's recommended 1 cup at a time. So that's what I'll be doing. And I may or may not use this soup. I just got it in case. Roasted chicken with wild rice soup. That sounds really good. It's probably higher in carbs. Oh, it's actually not. 16 grams of carbs. That's not bad. 110 calories per cup. Protein is 8 grams. Did I say the protein on this one? The protein on this one's 9 grams per cup. So these will be just like maybe for dinner tomorrow night if I feel like I need it. But I can drink as many shakes as I want. I have plenty of shakes for day 1 and 2. And day 1 and 2 are the same. Day 2 is much easier from my personal experience. Day 1 is a bit torturous. But that's one reason I'm doing this video, is because I want to be accountable and then hopefully help somebody as well to know that you're not alone in the struggle. It's so hard. But you can do hard things. I mean, we see that saying on all kinds of things, on jewelry, on wall art, on shirts. You know, you can do hard things. It's not going to kill us, you know. And it's one day. If you can get through day 1, day 2 is pretty much a breeze. And then day 3 is going to be like your soft proteins. Eggs, like scrambled eggs, cottage cheese. A big popular one is the tuna Parmesan patties, which I'm allergic to tuna. That's the only seafood I'm allergic to for some reason is tuna. But I'm very allergic, so I'll be using canned chicken breasts for mine. I'll make chicken Parmesan patties, and my husband loves them, so that's a bonus. That's what we'll have for dinner Wednesday night. And then day 4 is your firmer proteins, which is like some of your fishes. I think salmon is on the day 4. Salmon, tilapia, and then any of the day 1, 2, and 3 foods that you want as well. And then day 5 is like steak and chicken breast and stuff like that. Your really firm proteins. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited about doing it. I'm excited about being accountable with it. Today is March 24th, if I didn't say that, March 24th, 2019. I will be starting tomorrow, the 25th. And then I'm going to report back. I don't know if I'm going to do, I probably won't do a video every day, but I am going to make notes about my day and then do a synopsis at the end. And again, this diet, this reset diet is not meant really to make you lose weight. It's meant to make you find restriction again with your tool. Weight loss is just a bonus if you do lose anything. But again, it's to find restriction with that tool. Our tool will work if we treat it right. If we do what we're supposed to do, it will do what it's supposed to do. So that's my goal here. I'm very excited. I hope you will follow me on this journey. I may end up doing some more videos about bariatric gastric bypass, RNY. It's been quite the journey for me. It's been almost 9 years. So I've had some experiences. If you're new out from surgery, let me just say, Papaya Enzymes are your BFF in the beginning. They were for me. And a lot of people I read have struggles with food feeling stuck or, making them sick or feeling like a rock sitting in your pouch, things like that. Papaya Enzymes, they're chewable supplements that you can get from any drugstore. You should be able to get them from any drugstore. I've gotten them at Walgreens. I think I've bought them at Walmart before. And you just chew them up, 3 or 4 of them. You chew them up and it helps to dissolve whatever's going on down there. So those have been a lifesaver for me. And I've actually used those as recently as a year or so ago. I had a bout where I kept getting things, it felt like they were stuck. And so I would use my Papaya Enzymes. So that is a tip I can give you. But maybe I'll do a video. Let me know in the comments if you would like more information. I can just do random videos. Even if there's a subject you'd like me to speak on, I'm glad to do that. But I'm excited to see where this reset leads me. I am dying to get this last 30 or 40 pounds off. I am ready to buy some new clothes in my forever size and get rid of all this stuff that's gonna be too big and finally not have to worry about it anymore. I've learned my lesson, because if you don't stick to what you know is what you're supposed to do, you're gonna gain weight. I mean, you can't go into gastric bypass thinking that, or sleeve for that matter, thinking that it's going to be the end-all cure-all, because it's not. It still takes hard work. It's not the easy way out. In fact, the easy way out was the way I did it the first time. This was definitely not easy by any means. But thanks for tuning in. Please like our channel and subscribe. And if you'd like to hit the notification bell, it will notify you when I upload a new video. I'm going to try to do at least once a week. And I do different subjects. I've got a Stitch Fix coming next week I'm going to be uploading. So just, I hope you'll follow along, and feel free to comment if there's anything you want me to talk on, and I'm glad to do that. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.